Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dominic Cicale, Mafia Roundtable. I want to thank everybody for all the love and support, all the subscribers. It's just unbelievable. We're moving at a rapid pace, growing. It's beyond any of my wildest expectations. Thank you again. This edition is going to be a little bit different. I took one of the comments and I had to read it. I even went back the next day after I answered the comment. And more as I dissected it, I believe it did come from Anthony Indelicato. On the comment post itself, the person's name is Bruno. But some things were said in there that reflected things many years back that I had heard in the system. So I believe this was Anthony Indelicato. So and if it's not, so be it. These stories are going to come out regardless. And the closet door is now open for Mr. Indelicato. I'm going to have the narrator read the entire comment, and then after that we will dissect it, and I will answer and then come to a conclusion at the end. Please start reading.
I'm going to leave this last comment on your page, and I'm done entertaining this. Vinny was molded by the real mafia, groomed, raised by the streets. Guys he came up around were real-life killers. They honored their morals and values. You keep trying to paint a narrative that Vinny put himself where he is today because of his mouth. Only people you are fooling are these bozos on the other end of these comments. If you know the truth, the government set Vinny up by placing him in the pen with Joe, knowing he had to answer him. In that life, Vinny is compelled to answer Joe's questions. They entrapped him. And Vinny had to say what he said to save your life, because Joe wanted to kill you. But I'm sure you know all this. So I'm sure what was said at the diner on the day, was said for a good reason. Or maybe Vinny never got the beep. But I know one thing, Vinny wouldn't have put anybody he loves in harm's way. So stop trying to paint this picture that Vinny's mouth is why he's in jail. He's in jail because of rats.
Well, that was the entire comment. And now we're going to dissect it. Could you read number 1, please?
I'm going to leave this last comment on your page, and I'm done entertaining this. Vinny was molded by the real mafia, groomed, raised by the streets. Guys he came up around were real-life killers. They honored their morals and values.
That is absolutely correct. Vinny Basciano came up around Big Trin. Vinny was his driver and was with him basically 24/7 on call. Vinny is from the streets, and Vinny should have known better being around these men of killers, because Vinny was a bona fide killer himself. You'll hear that in other podcasts. Vinny had, I would say, over a dozen bodies that he was responsible for. Himself. Not having anybody else go, himself. And with that, Vinny should have known better. Since he was groomed by these old men, after you kill somebody, never gets mentioned again. So number 1 was answered. Could you go to number 2, please?
You keep trying to paint a narrative that Vinny put himself where he is today because of his own mouth. Only people you are fooling are these bozos on the other end of these comments.
Number 1, painting a narrative. Vinny got caught on 2 tapes. First tape, he's meeting a guy in the Bonanno crime family, Big Lou, who's a captain, that we all think, we had a feeling he was a rat. So Vinny's caught on that tape talking about stuff he shouldn't be talking about. And then Vinny's on tape with Joe Messino, on tape, talking about things he should never talk about, especially murders. So I'm not painting a narrative, I'm just stating. So the only bozo here is Bruno, the person that wrote this comment. Please go to comment number 3.
If you know the truth, the government set Vinny up by placing him in the pen with Joe.
Could you stop right there? I believe, now that's technicalities in law, but even till this day, I think that was a dirty move by the government, putting them in the pen together. However, the only way I could see it justified was the fact the government was under the impression Vinny and myself were looking to kill a federal prosecutor. And when that happens, especially without backgrounds, the knowledge of how dangerous we were out there, I don't blame them for doing it, pulling out all stops, all resources, and all tactics. So could you go on with the rest of the number 3? And I apologize for that one.
Knowing he had to answer him. In that life, Vinny is compelled to answer Joe's questions. They entrapped him.
Again, I answered the first part. Entrapment, that's all legal. Vinny is not compelled to tell a boss he killed somebody. Vinny wasn't compelled when we did a hit. Vinny didn't ask Joe's permission. Vinny went ahead and did it. There's other homicides Vinny did. Joe Messino had no clue about. So all that being compelled, no, not when it comes to murder. And I was told by a Genovese crime family high up, an old timer, you never speak about murder. If any boss asks you, they shouldn't be asking you that question. They should not be asking you that. Never happened. Never gets spoke about. Vinny should have known better. So that's all bullshit. If a boss asks you, you're compelled. No, you're not. Vinny wasn't compelled when we took out Frank Santoro. 4th question, please.
And Vinny had to say what he said to save your life because Joe wanted to kill you.
Joe wanted to kill me. When? Why? How come? What did I do so wrong? So that's the most ludicrous response or comment I could hear. Joe wanted to kill me. For what reason? For giving him over $300,000 at Christmas time? Now he wants to kill me? Wasn't enough money? Because I even took money out of my pocket from my guys to give to Joe and Vinny. So that makes no sense whatsoever. But that response on the comment, I heard that came out of Bruno years back. So that's what made me to believe this A. Bruno is Anthony Indelicato himself. Go, please, number 4, I think we're up to. 5? Okay.
But I'm sure you know all this. So I'm sure what was said at the diner on that day was said for a good reason. Or maybe Vinny never got the beep.
Okay, about the beep, right after the diner meeting, I asked Vinny if he got the beep. He said, Bo, I got it within the first 5 minutes, which is about accurate. But let's play devil's advocate. Vinny's going to meet Big Lou, who's a captain in the Bonanno crime family. We had basically a administration meeting. Tony Green, that's Tony Urso, Joe Camarano Sr., which is Joe C., Vinny Basciano, and myself talking about this Big Lou. We all came up, Big Lou has to be no good. I'm not 1,000% sure, but Vinny's going in basically meeting a rat. That was his mindset. So say Vinny didn't get the beep. Even so, you know you're meeting a rat. You're still opening up your mouth, telling them, I'm an acting captain. You're boasting when Big Lou handed you a 302, showing about the homicide in the Bronx, in the Throgs Neck area, that you're saying, Bo, if that was me, the feds, that wasn't me, but if that was me, the feds would have no eyewitnesses. They wouldn't know who the shooters were. And he went on and on. So why would you even say that instead of saying, Bo, that's me. That wasn't me. I would never do something like that. It's my neighborhood. It's my home. Why would I kill somebody? I don't condone. I don't like violence, and keep it at that. But no, Vinny has to, be braggadocious, as they would say, about himself. So Vinny did it to himself, and the excuse, maybe he didn't get the page. Well, if he didn't get the page, he knew he was meeting a suspected rat. Why would you say things? Last one, I think, number 6, we're up. Thank you.
But I know one thing, Vinny wouldn't have put anybody he loves in harm's way. So stop trying to paint this picture that Vinny's mouth is why he's in jail. He's in jail because of rats.
Wrong. It's Vinny's big mouth that gave them the case with us. Vinny talked about one murder. Vinny's on tape bragging. The feds would have never even known it was us. Even the Pizzola murder. They said in the papers initially, Genevieve's crime family associate. It was Vinny's mouth that caused all this. We're not on tape on the street other than Vinny meeting Big Lou and being braggadocious. Again, Vinny's mouth got him in trouble. Yes, it was the rats, myself included, that put the nail in his coffin. But Vinny caused all this for himself and put somebody at harm's way. He put me at harm's way. He put me at harm's way when he spoke about me being an acting captain for him, when he spoke about me taking the hit, killing Randy Pizzola. So, put me at harm's way. With that, thank you, Miss Narrator. I appreciate it. I know the grammatic writing wasn't correct, so yeah, a difficult time. I appreciate, but well done. Now we'll go into Mr. Anthony Indelicato Bruno. We'll talk about Bruno himself, because Bruno was also brought up with old school mobsters, old school values, morals, respect. He was the one who killed Carmine, our boss at the one time, Carmine Gigante. He killed him. And Bruno's a tough guy. Love Bruno. Great guy, good person. But now the closet door's open, we're going to talk about it. Joe Massino's killed Bruno's father. In the life, it's to be expected. What does Bruno do? Years go by, many years go by, Bruno accepted it. Hey, buddy, hey, pal, kissing him. Having a great time with Joe, laughing with Joe. All the while, didn't have the fucking balls to do what he had to do. Because let me tell you something, if it was Bruno's father, Sonny Red, that Joe took out Bruno, Joe wouldn't have been around too long. He would have definitely got him, whether it be that year or 20 years afterwards. Whenever he got the opportunity, he would have took him out. Vinny Basciano himself. God forbid Joe did something to one of Vinny's people, somebody close, Vinny's killing Joe. So Bruno, old school, all those old school men would have retaliated. Did it quietly, wait till nobody suspected, made their move. So that's number one. Number two, one of the hits we went on together. Guy got killed. Bruno's looking out. Tell you what Bruno does. Bruno's supposed to be watching for cops. Bruno's on his cell phone. His cell phone talking to, I think, his girl or his wife. Feds picked up a ping from his personal cell phone. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? None of us had cell phones, pages, nothing on us, zero electronics. We even used vehicles that didn't have navigation for the hit. But Bruno's on his cell phone talking. So this is a guy who was schooled by old people. We're going to number three. After we're all arrested, myself, Vinny, myself, then about a month or two, maybe 3 months later, they arrest Anthony Aiello, Ace. All three of us are sitting in jail. Maybe about 4 or 5 months after that. It's a restaurant in Howard Beach. It's called, I'm pretty sure it's Mateo's. Bruno's on the street. Bruno takes his wife out for dinner in Mateo's. Who's there? Joe Massino's wife. Joe Massino's a rat now. Joe Massino caused all this. His wife is there. Who else is there? Anthony Aiello's girlfriend. It might have been fiance at the time. I'm not sure, but it was his girlfriend. Bruno and his wife had met her. They were out on occasions together. They spent time together out with Anthony Aiello. So they knew her. All of a sudden, I see Ace on a co-defendant meeting. He's upset. Well, what's the matter? What's the problem? And Ace is like, I can't believe fucking Bruno. What happened? And he told me they all were in Mateo's eating at different tables. And clearly, from what Ace's girlfriend told him, Bruno and his wife, they saw her, totally ignored her. Totally ignored her. They didn't ignore Joe Massino's wife, Josephine. They didn't ignore her. They went over, they were talking, laughing, and they even picked up her bill. Now, wives, don't get me wrong, wives, girlfriends, I'm not saying to do anything to be disrespectful. I would never, never say that. but you're supposed to ignore her. You're supposed to ignore her. Not go over and laugh with her and then pick up her tab after a cousin. You could say hello. Hello, how are you? And keep it cordial because we want to be respectful. They're innocent. They have nothing to do with this life. But to ignore Ace's girlfriend, that, wow. And to pick up Joe Messino's wife's check? Wow. Okay. Shows Bruno, this is what the old timers taught him. And the icing on the cake, Bruno gets arrested because yours truly, Dominic Cicale, ratted. Bruno gets locked up. My acting captain, PJ, gets locked up. Now, they're both in my Dejin. Bruno's a soldier. PJ, Nicholas Piscotti's my acting captain. With that, they're in a cell together because they come together from Mulberry Street. They know each other for many, many years. So I guess Vinny at trial, they're talking about it. Again, Bruno can't keep his fucking mouth shut, talking about stuff you're not supposed to talk about. Tells PJ, well, Dominic is on the hit and tries to make a joke. Yeah, the fucking guy missed. But the end results, the guy wound up dead. Talking about it, telling PJ this. Lo and behold, PJ walks in, signs his deal with the government, becomes a rat. So again, Bruno, you groomed old school? Wow. So let's just spill the beans. Let's talk about stuff that we're never supposed to talk about. Oh, and Bruno also made a comment. This is how I know this came authentic from PJ. The dog. When I first fired the shot, the guy was walking his Doberman. The dog took off like a bat out of hell. Went in the other direction. I think the word on the street in the neighborhood, they never found the dog, which is sad. But at the end of the day, that's how I knew it was authentic. So stay tuned because I'm about to come out with the true reason. The movie Goodfellas, great movie, but you'll find out the true reason why Anthony and Delicato Bruno wasn't there that evening when the three captains got killed. Stay tuned. Everybody, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Stay tuned. There's more coming out, a lot more explosive than this one. And I hope everybody likes the content. We'll try to switch it up, keep it different. I'm getting a lot of comments in regarding Sammy the Bull, regarding Michael, that I should be more like them, follow suit. I'm Dominic Cicale. I'm doing things the way I want to do it. I'm out here. I respect them. They are the pillars of this platform. They actually laid the foundation for me to come out. And I thank them profusely. And with that, I'm going to end it. Everybody have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. And by the way, in one of my episodes, I want to see if anybody caught it. I said good evening, good morning, and good night. I realized it after I said it. So let's see if somebody picked up on that episode and put it up in the comments. Thank you again. Much love. Peace out.